Welcome back to the channel, everybody, on this beautiful Saturday evening. I'm going to read something, so bear with me. And there are chapters here. If you'd like to jump ahead, you can. Let's begin here. I'm going to read this, okay? This is a quote, under and back of the universe of time, space and change is ever to be found, the substantial reality, the fundamental truth. Substance, quote, means. I say a lot of these things, so I want to read this, right? Then it'll give you a greater understanding of what I'm talking about sometimes when I intermix little things into the videos, right? Substance means that which underlies all outward manifestations, the essence, the essential reality, the thing in itself, etc. Substantial means actually existing, being the essential element, being real, etc. Reality means the state of being real, true, enduring, valid, fixed, permanent, actual, etc. Under and behind all outward appearances or manifestations, there must always be a substantial reality. This is law. Man, considering the universe of which he is a unit, sees nothing but change in matter, forces, and mental states. He sees nothing. He sees that nothing really is, but that everything is becoming and changing. Nothing stands still. Everything is being born, growing, dying. The very instant a thing reaches its height, it begins to decline. The law of rhythm is in constant operation. There is no reality, enduring quality, fixity, or substantiality in anything. Nothing is permanent but change. You know, I use that word potentiality a lot, right? He sees all things evolving from other things and resolving into other things, a constant action and reaction, inflow and outflow, building up and tearing down, creation and destruction, birth, growth, and death. Nothing endures but change. And if he be a thinking man or woman, he realizes that all of these changing things must be but outward appearances or manifestations of some underlying power, some substantial reality. And with that, knowing that, having sought truth down the ever difficult path throughout life, somehow people expect one such as myself to quiver in the face of adversity brought on by man. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to share in that allotment of fear. I was going to say I eat fear and all of it, all this nonsense, all this cool stuff. But you know what? I don't even have to be bothered with it. Fear nothing. Fear nothing. That's different than being cautious. They try to conflate the two. You don't have to be filled with fear. You can be quite cautious. Be cautious around many things because they are a danger. They can be harmful to you. That's caution. But fear, no. Fear is used as a control mechanism. And they use it everywhere these days. There's nowhere that you look that they aren't trying to set up these pillars of fear, injecting into your minds and into your bodies the poison of fear. And it spreads ever throughout the body, causing great sickness in the mind. And that which happens in the mind spreads outwardly into the body. Yes. And they do this purposely, right? No, I will not have a serving of fear. No, I will not have a serving from the bowl of blood like the movie Golden Child. Remember Golden Child with Eddie Murphy? You ever seen that movie? You guys need to start watching those classics. They put messages in there. Just like the elders used to do. When the elders used to tell stories, they would always have a message in the stories. I know they don't do that anymore. These days, everything is buffoonery. That's how they get you. They rob the generations of knowledge. Knowledge is power. There are certain understandings that when you have that understanding, you have grasped the scepter of power. Because then nothing can bind you and bound you. You are free. You are free. Capital is but a tool. Freedom is here in the mind. You can have all the capital of the world and still be a slave. Fear, capital, all of these tools, be careful of them. Make sure that you are in control of those things. That way they are not manacles around your neck, shackles around your wrist. Now, I choose to live a fearless life, like the ancients told. All of them had about the same message. If you really read everything, they all had the same message, and they all told you to follow no one. No, I am not here to lead. I am amongst you a warrior, amongst you a brother, if you will, to fight side by side with you. Others, they seek to control your mind. They lay in wait, laying traps for your mind. Yes, feeding you with fear, feeding you with control mechanisms. Be careful of these ones. Question everything, right? Especially you youth out there. If you're watching, question everything. I'm trying to give you everything I can now. Everything I can. I know, not just me. We never know what's coming tomorrow. So if this, let's say this is the last video I leave behind, I want to know in those last moments where my life is playing through my head. That's what they say, correct? They say in those last moments, your life flashes before your eyes. I've never experienced it. I've had many, how do they call it? Let's initialize it. NDEs, near experiences. I had a few of them. Never saw my life flash before my eyes, but this is what they say. But if that were to happen, I want to know. I did everything I could. I gave it all. I left it all on the mat. I left behind something that will last, wisdom, goodness. I think about that often. I think a lot of people do. As we grow to a certain phase where materials don't mean anything. Now, they mean very, very little. Very little. I'll say to myself, they don't mean anything to me. Listen, you give me a nice open space, beautiful scenery. Don't even have to be beautiful. I appreciate nature just as is, truth be told. Some fresh air, I'm good to go. A nice meal, I'm very humble. I'm good to go. So the material world doesn't mean much to individuals such as myself. You reach a certain level, if that starts to fade away, and you start to think to yourself, what matters now? You know, that youthful energy, those youthful hormones, they take a back seat. And then you have this clarity in life. Whoa, what is the substantial reality? What is the substance? What is the truth of this place? And if you even go further, you start thinking to yourself, what is beyond the perceived physicality? What they don't want to teach in school. What is the energy that the quantum scientists are studying? What is the consciousness? What is the substantial reality? Your mind starts drawing you towards these things that are well beyond the superficial. I'm telling you now, it grabs a hold of you. And you start seeking what many might call the light. And it's called that because everything else seems like darkness. It's like, it's purposeless. You start questioning, why do I have all these blazers? Why do I need a Lambo? What does it really do for me as a being? Development. I need sustenance, nutrients, not of the body. You need that as well. But you get to a point where you're doing really good health-wise, and you start to say to yourself, I need nutrients for my mind. The mind is hungry. It's thirsty and you must satiate it. They don't want you to have that. So they inundate the masses with nonsense. Oh, this celebrity said this and that. And I don't even agree that these individuals should be called celebrities. I don't know what they're celebrated for. And even if they were celebrated, I don't agree that they should be raised up like kings and queens. They should not. They should not. There's so much work to be done on an individual level. People should be concentrating on themselves, just in my humble opinion. Developing yourself. Who and what are you? What is this place? Where the atoms, so-called atoms, it's just a name. It's just a word. A word is just a container for meaning. I could care less about the word, but the meaning, the substance of it. What are these vibrations here? I seek it. I need it. I don't know. So you can't, once you go to a certain place in the mind, you can no longer be controlled. That fear of certain things that they hold over you, it's not there anymore. It's not there anymore. Ripple lawsuit. This VC firm files amicus brief and fight against SEC. Let's read this little tidbit here. It says, in the ongoing legal battle, Ripple continues to win up new supporters. One of the most recent is Paradigm, a VC firm that supports crypto projects and Web3 innovations. With a record-breaking $2.5 billion fund that was eclipsed later in May by a $4.5 billion fund from Andreessen Horowitz, Paradigm remains one of the biggest investment companies in the cryptocurrency sector. Given that, it's still pretty strange why all of a sudden it's interested in the ongoing Ripple litigation. Paradigm's reasons for filing. In reply to this, Paradigm states that the outcome of the Ripple litigation might have a significant impact on the development and operation of crypto and Web3 businesses, which is why it has asked to submit an amicus brief. The company claims that it wants to take part in the case because it is worried that a decision that casually adopts the terminology favored by the SEC could have significant and unanticipated consequences on Paradigm and other companies that aim to use the new technology in a way that could benefit users. I agree with that. There's so many large companies coming out in support of Ripple. It's a very good thing. There's so much that will change if these technologies go into place. So much freedom that can be had. I hope that the people aren't focusing on the limitations that the powers, the so-called powers that be, are trying to impose in certain areas. No, continue your fight. Focus on your fight. Focus on your punches, your takedowns. Don't take your eye off the ball. Distraction is our worst enemy. Distraction will lead to defeat. We must be in this moment, swinging our swords. Such is the way of survival anywhere. If the lion wants to eat, he needs to be focused on that gazelle. And we are very much lions. So there is no guarantee for us the next meal, metaphorically speaking, unlike the sheep. No, we don't know where our next meal is coming. So we must focus on the hunt. And we cannot take our mind off of the hunt, the fight in front of us, unless we want to be distracted and miss out on the meal. That's how I look at it. So focus on what is good. Continue the fight. Win the fight. Every little hold gets us closer to the top of the mountain. Let's move on to another article here. It's another article. It's from U.Today, and it's titled, Ripple helps move almost billion XRP as price begins to recover. Let's read this little tidbit here. It says, whale alert published around a dozen tweets showing that Ripple and whales have been moving astounding chunks of XRP, starting at 30 to 40 million XRP and ending at 307 million. A whale shifted 173,549,000 from Binance Wallet to Bittrex. 306,938,000 XRP was transferred from one unknown wallet to another. We've seen a lot of this going on as of late. We know what this is all about. They're getting ready. The shift of the ages is coming. Everyone's been telling you. Everyone's been telling you. They all know it. They're shaking out all the little people. It's been happening in droves by the thousands. I know they've been telling me, hey, Afanim, I'm gone. I'm done. I can respect it. I understand. But they're shaking everyone out. And I don't believe that we've seen the big one. No, I don't believe FTX is the big one. It's big, but I don't believe it's the biggest. No, there's so many different negative catalysts that can happen. And I hope that they don't. But we also must stay aware and ready to adjust if we have to adjust. That's how I feel. But the world is in a very, very peculiar position at this time. A very, I won't say peculiar, but rather maybe I should say precarious, right? Very dangerous position right now. And you know all the things that are going on. There's so many different catalysts, from shortages of coal, diesel, the wildness going on with wheat, all the oil companies, you know, the West going against the oil companies going against the West. The prime energy is oil, obviously, in a lot of regions. They've been hurting because of that. I mean, there's so many things going on. Rebellion against certain governments, of course, you have that. You have wars going on, or special operations, however they want to put it. Those are things that I watch out for, right? And then the possible collapses within the banking sector, right? Like what was the bank that we've been keeping an eye on the last few months? Was it Credit Suisse or one of those banks? They're not doing well. And all the banks rush to them to try to help them out and save them. That's still ongoing. The collapse of one of those major entities would cause a domino effect, the likes of which you've never seen. So while they're pointing the finger at crypto, keep an eye on the legacy system. It is a house of cards. So hopefully nothing happens. I want the people to thrive. I want the people to thrive. I don't care about those big institutions, and I just want to take their value. I just want to take their money. But I would like the people to thrive, not just survive, thrive and do well. But that's also up to the people. They have to choose that path, right? You can't force people down a path. I mean, some others are trying that right now, you know, but that's on them. But the people at least can have the choice to thrive, to live in peace, to be successful by the sweat of their own brow. They can at least have the choice. Right now, pickings are very slim. In the future, with these technologies, we can make the pathways a little bit wider if the people should choose such a thing. Choice is theirs. So now let's continue on here. Let's read this a little bit here from Epoch Gallery. It says, Lifelike is now live at epoch.gallery. This is on Algorand. With all the current election anxieties and insanity happening in crypto, come take solace in our latest virtual exhibition. Lifelike explores the work of 7 artists, logging biological, genetic, and behavioral information on a digital ledger. That's insane, but let's continue on. Invoking a conversation about how to take back body sovereignty in Web3. All right. What about sovereignty in real life? Is that really something you want to talk about? You want to talk about sovereigns? Yeah, all right. Okay. And so it says here, on November 19th, the entire Lifelike exhibition will be offered on the Algorand blockchain in an edition of 3. Proceeds will be distributed among the artists and contributors. Hashtag green crypto, hashtag Algorand NFTs. Algorand is involved in some very, very interesting NFT projects. I'm very excited to see what they're going to be doing in the future. I have an idea. Our NFTs are going to go to the back of my mind at some point in the future. They just are, because there's going to be much bigger things moving through NFTs in the future. And you know what I mean. So now let's read this little article here. And it's titled, 5 Reasons 2023 Will Be a Tough Year for Global Markets. It says, from inflation to energy shortages, general instability, markets are set for a turbulent year ahead. Didn't I say that? Haven't I been saying that for quite some time, that I think 2023, we're heading into what would be like a depression, not a recession, a depression. We already have been in a recession. Just my humble opinion. We already have been experiencing deceleration. There's been mass layoffs. Mass layoffs. We've covered a lot of them here. You can look it up for yourself. What is that? That's not a recession when you're experiencing mass layoffs. It goes deeper than that. You already went past stagflation, right? There's mass layoffs. That's deceleration. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. You guys gotta look it up for yourself, because these media people and the politicians are saying a completely different thing. It's unbelievable, and I can see what's coming, but we'll see if I'm correct. I hope I'm not. I hope I'm not. But at the same time, when I'm looking at the information and being logical and truthful, that's what I'm seeing. I have to say that because I don't think these people are being truthful at all. I don't. I think they'll tell you whatever you want to hear to move you in the direction they want to move you in. Maybe I'm wrong about that, right? It says here, those who come bearing warnings are rarely popular. I know. Trust me, I know. People don't want to hear the truth. They don't want that nasty medicine. But let's continue on. Cassandra didn't do herself any favors when she told her fellow Trojans to beware of the Greeks and their wooden horse. Trojan horse, you know the story of Troy, of course, I'm assuming. But with financial markets facing unprecedented turbulence, it's important to take a hard look at economic realities. I like this writer already. Analysts agree markets face serious headwinds. The International Monetary Fund has forecast that 1/3 of the world's economy will be in recession in 2023. Actually, I actually have that direct post from the IMF somewhere here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yep, I do. It was posted 8 hours ago by the IMF. I was going to cover it separately. I didn't know that this article actually was going to speak on it, but let me read it now. This is directly from the IMF at IMF News. It says, IMF chief economist, the world's 3 largest economies, US, China, and the Euro area, will continue to stall. The worst is yet to come. And for many people, 2023 will feel like a recession. No, it'll feel like a depression. It'll feel like a depression. I've been saying this for months and months. All right. Now you got the IMF telling you. You had a lot of billionaires telling you this over the last few months as well. Really over the last month or two. We've been saying it for like 7 months. Haven't we been talking about deceleration and how it takes you right into a depression? Before that, weren't we talking about stagflation? Yes, we were. Be prepared. Take precautionary measures. Don't be filled with fear, because then you can fear causes one to behave irrationally. We need to be rational and take precautionary measures just in case. Let's be prepared just in case. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Hope for the best. Prepare for the worst. That's how I feel. But now you have the IMF. Look, when the IMF comes out, you know it's about to happen. They always come at the last second. They're never early on anything. But that's what they're saying here. They have a nice little chart here also. Let's go back to that article. Hopefully we didn't lose our place. It says, energy is in high demand and short supply. Prices are high and rising, and emerging economies are coming out of the redacted. Sorry about that. I gotta be careful. Out of the redacted in shaking conditions. There are 5 fundamental and interlinked issues that spell trouble for asset markets in 2023, with the understanding that in uncertain environments, there are no clear choices for investors. Every decision requires trade-offs. This is a great article. It was on cointelegraph.com. You get a chance, head over there and check them out. All right. Net energy shortages. Without dramatic changes in geopolitical and economic landscape, fossil fuel shortages look likely to persist through next winter. No, listen, it's not that there's shortages. The politicians in the West have run afoul of the fossil fuel industry. They outright said they want to put them out of business. So the fossil fuel industry has said, you know what? Okay, you want to take that route? We're still going to make money because we're going to sell lots of it to India and China, Russia, and all that, just all of that. And Russia sells it to some people, and then the people sell. It's like this constant flow of value. That's how it works. Okay. So they say to themselves, well, we'll just continue to make money, but we'll shut you out. Since you want to put us out of business, we'll shut you out. We'll harm you. We'll not harm you, but we'll take action against you. We don't really need your value, your money. Besides, as the BRICS nations, we're going to come up with our own currency and back it with gold anyway. That's what they've been doing. So it's not just shortages, but they're saying in the media, well, we're at max capacity. They could always boost capacity if they wanted to. They just don't want to because they don't like what the West has been doing, the politicians. And so the people of the West have to suffer because of their politicians. But the mass people of the West are not complaining. They're just taking the suffering. It's like they don't care. They're not demanding more of their politicians, better foreign policy. And I said this before. I watched a lot of interviews over the summer with certain politicians, meeting with certain business heads. I'll just say it like that. And the way they were speaking to them, it was disgusting. Holy smokes. When you want someone to acquiesce to your request, you don't interact with them like that. I'm just going to tell you right now. So they've said, hey, we don't want to take that anymore. You're going to try to harm our money. All right, we don't need to provide you with much. And so they're not. And that's been happening across the board. Look at South America and what they said. We covered those articles recently. Look at what they said, right? With their oil, with their natural gas. Look at what OPEC said. They're saying similar things, aren't they? That's what I'm saying. Okay, all right. So let's continue on from here. Okay, I want to try to get in a few more articles, even though that was a great article, by the way. So this one here is from finbowl.com. It says, Rich Dad R. Kiyosaki shares his stance on current crypto market downturn. Let's scroll down, see what Mr. Kiyosaki has to say here. He has some good points from time to time. It says, Kiyosaki believes that a possible Bitcoin drop to about $10,000 should be exciting, while noting that he is not worried. I'm not worried either about anything at all. He is not worried with the current price trajectory. Of course, because the markets are going to explode again. It's just a matter of time. He said in a tweet on November the 11th. At the same time, the author hailed gold and silver. I've been telling people about gold. It's true, man. You better do your research. Oh, man. Anyway, at the same time, the author hailed gold and silver as standout assets. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. To invest in while hitting out at the Federal Reserve and Treasury policies. Quote, Bitcoin, worry? No. I am a Bitcoin investor, and as I am an investor in physical gold, silver, and real estate. I am not a trader or flipper. I agree with that. Kudos to you, sir. When Bitcoin hits new bottom, 10 to 12K, I will get excited, not worried. I bet against the Fed. Oh, I like how he's saying this. Oh, man. I bet against the Fed, Treasury, Biden, and bet on gold, silver, and Bitcoin. I agree 100%. He's on point here at 100%. And there's a lot of catalysts. You'll be hearing about them. We may cover them soon, but yeah, there's a lot of good catalysts. So it says, as reported by Finbowl, Kiyosaki asserted that Bitcoin could protect wealth, but stressed that the asset does not guarantee safety for incomes. That's true. That's very true. According to Kiyosaki, a potential crash would result from the central bank's policies to handle the skyrocketing inflation. Yes. So now let's move on here. U.S. to tighten methane emissions with new rules on oil and gas industry. The administration announced plans on Friday to tighten regulations against methane emissions from domestic oil and gas drilling, including requirements for drillers to fix all leaks, not just the biggest. Listen, that's not the issue here. Listen. Holy smokes, bro. They're continuing to poke those energy people when the people still need that energy. We're going to see, there's always an equal and opposite reaction. You've already been seeing it. Europe is definitely seeing it. The United States is seeing it. They've patted themselves a little bit, but there's always an opposite reaction. So now you struck out at them again. How are they going to react to this? It's definitely, if they have a big reaction to these types of things, and a negative reaction, the people are going to feel it. They're making it harder and harder on these companies. Well, hey, let's just leave it at that. Gonna move on. Sector update. Tech stocks surge for second consecutive session. Technology stocks added to their 2-day gains Friday afternoon, with the SPDR Technology Select Selector ETF rising 1.8%, while the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index was climbing 3%. In company news, 36KR Holdings KRKR jumped 5% on Friday after the Chinese online media publisher said it was partnering with the Future Car automotive media platform in a bid to boost its North American presence. One can continue to thrive, one can continue to do well, but you have to know the catalyst, stay up to date on information, throw in a little bit of charts in there also, all of the information, so you can have all of that information taken together so you can have a 360-degree view, so to speak, of what's going on, and then you can make the best decisions for yourself. That's how I feel about that. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.